Hey, welcome back to Monster Gaming. uh, Dominations is definitely one of those games that gets a lot of attention for their specific player base. And looking at my video views, still gets a lot of views, which is very exciting because it is a very good game. I know I've talked in the past that I've been playing it for a long time. There's burnout, things take forever, and that's true. You know, this is a game that's going to take years and years, especially if you're free to play or extremely cheap to play. It's going to take a long time to progress. And then obviously when you compare against other games that are not in this genre, some games are quicker, bite-sized, and things like that. So I can see how sometimes you can have a little bit about that burnout. But I wanted to go back to the good points. I wanted to give you guys the 7 reasons why you should be playing this game, whether you're new, whether you've been playing a little bit and you're kind of like, I don't know how far I've gone or how far I can go. Um, or if you just like strategy games, you've never heard of this game before. Um, so like I said, my videos are very simple, very casual. So it's all my opinion, and it's also just going to be visually played out. So I might be doing things on the screen as I'm talking. Um, the first reason why to play this game is definitely that it's very free to play friendly. Now, you might not believe that because there's all these ads that pop up everywhere, you know, get this boost or get this extra citizen or get this thing, get that. I know that pops up everywhere. That's just part of their marketing and sales targets and things like that for the company. And you know, I don't want to say anything negative about that, but it is what it is. And they're not the only company that does that. There's a lot of games that, you know, try to get you on the little packages to help you out. This game is a little different because it is so long that even if you have some of those things you spend, you know, give you some short little sprints. But you're not going to be able to beat the game or win the game just by buying little things here and there. You would really have to spend a ton of money on crowns to do all kinds of different things and maybe get some little extra things to really catapult you. Because the biggest thing with this game is all your buildings are permanent. So if you're evolving one to the next age or you're evolving something and upgrading it, um, there's still more to evolve after that. It's not like you can quickly evolve something 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps and then you're good, because there is a finite level per era that you're in or per age that you're in, that will cap you before you can keep evolving. You know, so there are little benchmarks that you want to hit. But I would definitely say this is free to play. I have spent a little bit of money in the past. A few years back, they didn't have all these extra offers. They didn't really have. They did have the event, but they didn't have the event pass. The event pass is probably 2 years old now, but before that, they didn't have that, um, which is fine. I mean, this isn't like the most exciting thing to look at and to do. Although it is nice because they're going to give you little rewards on things that you're going to do anyways, and it might encourage you to play a little bit more than you normally would to try to get some of those things, and that's the goal. You know, they want you to stay in the game, they want you to kind of do more things, but that goes hand in hand with the free to play. For free to play people, that really helps, gives you little extra things, which is really nice in a game like this. Um, Now, the only times that I spent a little bit of money was when I was trying to change nations, which you can do. Um, I think the first time you do it, it's like 600 or 700 crowns. Now it's 1,000. Luckily, it doesn't go past that, which is good. But you do need all your citizens too. So if you don't plan it right, you're going to be waiting a while for your people to finish doing their building and stuff like that. Um, The other thing that makes this game super free to play is that it is pretty casual. Like you kind of go at your own pace. This isn't a game where you have to fight. Um, you kind of do if you want to progress a little bit quicker. But there's certain ways to mitigate that. There's certain ways to really develop your economy where you can produce a lot of the goods yourself, and then you can fight here and there. because it's a tough game. You know, you can go out there and fight, and some people are very strong. They have a very strong defense, and then you're kind of like, man, I can't do anything until you level up. So it is a little bit punishing that way. You really need to be developed offensively and defensively to not be uh, beat pretty good, which is one of the reasons why they do recommend to upgrade almost everything before you go to the next age, or you're going to be really, really far behind. That's kind of where I am. I remember doing a couple. I think one of the times I might have done that, I might have spent crowns to rush a update to another age, and that's why I am pretty far behind for being in Cold War. I should definitely be over 200 stars over there in experience, level wise. So that's one of the things that I'm dealing with now. Is I was able to move up some areas pretty quickly, and then bam, I kind of hit a brick wall where I really, really need to start leveling things up. And that takes a lot of time, and that's kind of like what happened to me. But I play a lot of games, so I'm not like the average player. Back a few years back, I play this game daily, religiously. But I have multiple games that I play, so that kind of got in my way a little bit, but that's okay. So that was number one, free to play. You can say all you want about all these ads. You can say about all these things that are really going to help you, yada yada. They do to a certain extent, but they're not going to do long term uh, help. So free to play is definitely here, and then that will tie into some of the other things here. So that was number one, was free to play. Number two, this is a full game. Um, this doesn't feel like a game where all you do is skirmish and all you do is build up your little city, make it look pretty, and that's it. This is a full game. I started way back in the day playing Age of Empires, Red Alert, Warcraft, Starcraft, all those kind of things. They're all real time strategy, so this, because it's mobile, it can't really make it as deep as you want it to as a strategy game and do it that way. But this is a full game. This is a game that you could sit down, play pretty often for at least 3 years. And there's still more progression to be made. Like you constantly feel like you're progressing, you're upgrading your buildings, and then they added well, they didn't add it because I think it was already there. But then you have the library that you want to work on, increase your knowledge. So you can come here and research. They added archaeology, League of Nations, and then I don't know what that is, but when the game first started, all you had was the library. Now they call it Through the Ages, which is cool. They're always doing updates, which is another thing that we're going to talk about over here. But let's see. So every level of the books coincides with certain parts of history. So depending on what age you are, you'll be able to unlock something that's really going to help you there. So I'm still working on some of the stuff because, as you can see, it starts getting more and more expensive as you go along. Let's see, what level am I on now? Level 9. Okay. So this one reduces victory chest cooldown by 2 hours, which is good. Plus 1 ambusher for ambush traps, which is nice. Let's see what else is in there. Oh, 20% SAM, surface to air missile battery damage, and plus 1. Oh, that's a really good one, deception. So I might have to look at that. Maybe I could do that now. I don't do trench mortars really. Expeditions don't really do anything for me. I'm saving my oil, so I'm going to work on this one, even though it's expensive. The thing that I used my gold for I should have done a defensive upgrade, but that's okay. So that's going to take 5 days, 23 hours. Not a problem. Another thing that they helped out, which kind of goes back with the whole free-to-play thing, is the archive. This did not exist, ever. And then finally came out, and this is where you can do speed-ups. And this makes sense. A lot of games that are long like this eventually introduced different kind of speed ups, whether you can generate them yourself or you can win them. So I have a bunch here, and right now I'm just kind of collecting them until I find something really exciting to work on, and then I use them. But that's really nice. Full game. So I think at one point where I am right now, right here, if you can see that, this whole area was it for the map. And then I think a couple years ago, they added a whole other row back here. Now that doesn't seem like much, but that adds a whole other area of building, even if it's only on this side. So they knew that if they're going to add more ages, they're going to add more buildings, they're going to add more walls, they're going to add more things. You're going to need more space, and that's awesome. There's not a lot of games that will do that. That will take the actual size of the map and increase it. That's really unheard of. Like they usually just kind of make it so you have to configure things around. So this was another thing that they added a Bastion um, a few years back, and they take up space. So I think between that and a few other things that they came out with, they knew that they needed more space. There wasn't enough space to put stuff on the map, which is smart. Full game. So then they have the university, which is awesome, where you have all these leaders throughout history that can teach you certain strategies, which in turn turn into actual things that will benefit you. So let's see. Force defenders, expansions, mercenaries, APCs, which are really good later in the game, all kinds of stuff. So it's not, like I said, once again, it's not just going out and fighting things and then defending your base as best as possible. It's also evolving your civilization, evolving your knowledge, evolving your strategies, evolving your productivity. Um, they were able to condense basically like games like Civilization, Age of Empires. I'm trying to think what other games. There were other games that were not really PC games out there, but that focused. I'd say the focus was probably 60% on combat and 40% on economy and civilization and making sure your people are happy and being productive and producing a full economy. They took that, broke it down, and then rebuilt it here. So essentially, you're getting a full game. There's not a lot of games like this because not a lot of games take the time to put that level of depth where you can evolve. It's not just going out hunting parties or swarming with your armies and doing this and that. It's way more than that. And I think that's one of the things that really attracts people to this game is the level of strategy. Yes, you have armies, which are super exciting. You get all these crazy characters through time, depending on which nation you choose. You have all these extra abilities you can do. You can hire mercenaries, which is really cool. Then you have these wonders that will give you different boosts, and there's a certain number of wonders, but you can only have one. You can only choose one per age. So they all kind of play together to build a nation that you want. There's enough uniqueness there in the different buildings, the different technologies that can make you stand out and be unique. Now, yes, there is somewhat of a meta. So if you want to know which ones are best for offense, which ones are best for defense, which ones are best for economy, which ones are going to help you more and speed up your game, etc., etc. Yes, there are things like that, but you don't have to follow that. You don't have to. You can play the way that you want to play as long as you play often. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. You're going to progress. You're going to be able to get your resources. You're going to be able to upgrade things and play however you want. That's the best thing about it. There's so much depth in this game, which I'm going to get to. So let me skip to the next one because I kind of went long on that one. But it is a full game. If you're thinking that after 6 months you'll figure out the whole game and you'll know, or even 9 months, that you're going to do everything that the game offers to you, because there are some games that are kind of like that you feel like you're just being repetitive. This is not the game. This is a game that continually evolves. Every time you go to a next age, not only do you unlock more buildings and things, even if you already have them, but you can do more. It's also going to let you start recruiting new troops, whether it's land or air, or factory troops, etc. There's just so much evolving, and I think that's a big key for a lot of players. They like to see that evolution from like Stone Age to modern times, etc. And then see their troops level up. To me, that's one of the most exciting things is when you finally get to that next age, or you unlock that troop that you really, really wanted, and you finally unlock it. There's so much like excitement there because it literally changes the game. Like before you have tanks, everything kind of plays out a certain way. Once tanks comes out, your strategy changes. And then once um, airplanes come out, the strategy changes. Once you have anti-air missiles, the strategy changes. So it's constantly evolving. You really have to shift a little bit, but that makes it feel like a complete game, which it really is. And I'm not even at the end. I mean, I think there's 3 ages past me, if I remember correctly. I still have a lot to do. Um, and sometimes I get a little antsy and I want to move quick. But it's a game that you want to progress and fully understand your whole nation and what it's doing well, what it's doing not so great, and how do you evolve that? How do you make it work for you? So yeah, so the second thing is it's a full game. The third thing I kind of mentioned already, but it's based on history. There's a ton of history in this game, and I think they did a really great job with implementing that. One of the ways they implement it is with their events. Let's see if they have more info on here. Okay, so Airborne Assault is going to be this one. It says the Korean War saw the first combat ever between jet-powered fighter planes. American squadrons quickly eliminated any threat from the North Korean air forces, but China countered with superior Soviet-built MiG-15s. Some of these were secretly flown by pilots from the USSR, marking the only time during the Cold War that Americans and Soviets shot directly at each other. So, yep, so there's going to be all kinds of stuff with this. Okay. So that's cool. The other part that you see is when you're going through here and you look at commandos even. It gives you a tiny little description on the left side, like what they are. If you hit the question mark though, it gives you a lot more. This one's very basic, but let me skip this one. Let's go back to this one here. So armored tactics evolved at a rapid pace through World War One in response to attrition of trench warfare. The first tanks were slow, underpowered, and prone to mechanical breakdowns, but by the end of the war, Allied superiority in heavy tanks such as the British Mark V played a decisive role in key battles such as Cambrai and Amiens. So these are really cool. Like they actually do take information and put it there for you. Obviously, if you want to find out more, they usually have those key names of different vehicles and things like that, and you can always look them up if you want to find out more about it. The other thing is history over here. It's we kind of already clicked this already, but there's a question mark up here. So Mansa Musa, let's see. Let's click this one. They get a ton of information here. So, and this is for every character or every person that pops up. They tell you like why they were important, what they did to contribute to society. Emperor Moctezuma. Um, I don't I don't think I've read most of these because I didn't realize there's a question mark. And I know a little bit about most of these people, but it's nice that if you're like, I don't know anything about King St. John, you can just click this and they'll give you just a quick synopsis of, what they did, and that's really really cool that they added that into this game. They could have just had it just like this and that's it, but they do go a little bit deeper into it for people that are curious and want to know more about these people. Like even Sally Ride, I think is from Massachusetts. I'm trying to remember what city over here, but not too far from me because I remember reading up on her over here. Uh, hold on one second. Am I looking at the right person? Uh, where is this? I'm thinking of the wrong person. But either way, I did read about her before. I was thinking of somebody else as well. Yep, cool. Anyways, so like it's cool. I mean, the artwork is amazing. They did a really really good job with all of these, and they still have more. Like this one, I need to level up again. Very very cool. The other part that they added historic stuff was also in the wonders. So these are actual buildings. The Acropolis, which is really cool. I mean, you don't have to read all that, but everything has historic significance. Um, I mean, garrisons, I think you probably know what a garrison is. So these are just kind of generic that everybody had. But the buildings that are kind of like one offs, like this one's really cool. And they did a pretty good job with what they look like in real life versus this. So really nice. I think I had the Statue of Liberty at one point for my air units. So that's what I'll do real quick. So I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click replace. Those are the other ones that you can pull. Like the artwork is really nice. Statue of Liberty, Eiffel Tower, Kremlin, and they all benefit you in a different way. Now you can swap them, and I remember I did some kind of upgrade that gave me a lower cost. I think normally these are 600, but I did a technology thing, so now it's only 402 if I ever want to replace them. And the beauty of full thing about these is you only need 8, so you don't need all your people, and it is instant. All right. All right, so on to the next thing, which I've already touched upon just because it's going on a little rant, I guess. The next thing is evolution, upgrades. Um, yeah. So there's clearly an evolution here. There's an evolution of what your units look like, what your houses look like, what your towers look like, what your farms look like. So farms are not as important in this game as in other games because there's so many other ways to make food. But I like them, and I was leveling them up at a pretty good clip for a while. Um, and if I'm not fighting, I'm not really making much good, so it's nice to have them building. So this is a level 13, which I could upgrade, but I don't think I need to right now. Which looks like that, and that's a level 12. So you can see, let me see if I can zoom in even further so you can see that. So this one's 12 and this one's 13. And it's nice that you can tell the difference. So this one looks, the one on the top looks like a little buggy cart versus this one looks more like a tractor, like a really early tractor. Um, and then this one looks more full than the one up here because you can see all the greens there. Even the fence looks different. And does that one have a little lamppost? Yeah, that one has a little lamppost and this one doesn't. The roof looks very different. And I'm playing as the Germans. Okay. There's some food, a little food bucket over here. Pretty cool. Um, but yeah, everything evolves. Even so I have a gold mine here. All right, so I can show you this, not a gold mine, sorry, but your market. That's where you keep your goods. Man, these are like so cheap to level up. Interesting. Um, so that one looks like that. That's a level 11. And then this is another one up here that's more leveled up. Where did it go? I think it's right here. Okay. And this is a level 13. The level 13 definitely looks a little more contemporary. Looks like little market things in the front. It's pretty cool. So it's nice because visually, if you kind of pay attention, you can see which things are not leveled up and which ones are. And then you can kind of uh, put a little to-do list for yourself. So that one looks updated there. So does this one. That's a level 13 as well. Yep. But the same thing goes for defensive buildings and offensive buildings. So like this one is a level 9, which I need to level up, versus this one is a level 10. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, they definitely look more contemporary. The one on the bottom looks like a bunch of sand stuff. And the stone doesn't go up as high versus the other one it does. And you could also see underneath the stone pattern is a little bit different too. So I mean, I'm sorry, they're the same, but they were different when they was not as leveled up. Let's see what else. Oh, the walls. The walls also change a ton. Um, I'm pretty lazy with the walls because they get super expensive. But that's like a level 9, and this one that has the barbed wire, I don't know if you can see it, is a level 10. So that's what I'm working on. And then the level 11 looks like that, which is really cool. And the gates need to be leveled up too. So yeah, so I do like that. That's one thing that I always look for in games that are kind of like this, where you're kind of going through ages or evolving or whatever. Um, if the buildings don't actually look different when you're leveling up, to me it's kind of like a negative. the game could still be fun and I'll still play it. There's a couple games that I play that they don't do that, but that's not the point. The point is something else in the game. In this game, the point is your nation. That is the whole point of the nation. Like if you never fought any battles yourself, that's fine. You don't have to. You can still do well defensively, and you can still do well with your economy. So I like that there's different things you can do there. All right. So the next point, which is point number 5, is I'm gonna say it's pure strategy, very little luck. And for some people, they love that. There's not a lot of games, especially on mobile, because this is only on mobile, that offer a ton of strategy without being like, here's a stage, get to point A to point B, or clear everything from point A to point B. Like, this is not that. This is what I consider a full blown game, like I said before. The strategy is very deep. Whether you're fighting and you're trying to figure out what are the best troops to put out there, what's the best formation, or um, you're trying to decide how do I lay out my base to protect everything that I want it to protect. Because you can literally pick all these items up and replace them down. There's no like you have to demolish them and rebuild. Nope. There's a really cool layout editor here. You can have up to 3 bases, so you can kind of fiddle with them a little bit. And you can pick up buildings, which is nice, so you can kind of lay them however you want. And then you have war bases for when you go to war, which are different as well. You can edit them, etc., etc. So that came out a while ago, but the layout editor was not there the first year or so of the game existence. Um, but you had plenty of space to move things around. Now it gets pretty crowded, so you definitely need to use that editor to move things. And you have a ton of buildings. Every piece of wall you have to pick up. So yeah, it takes a while, but it's nice that you have that. But it's a lot of strategy. So I think that's one of the reasons people enjoy this game. That's why a lot of people watch the videos, whether it's mine or other YouTubers, because there's a lot of strategy. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how can I be more efficient? Am I using the right troops? Am I attacking properly? Like, uh, am I focusing on the right trainings? Am I leveling up quick enough, or the right buildings? There's just so much in there. Um, Definitely you could figure it out yourself, but it takes forever. So it's really good to have other places to go that can give you some advice and give you some input, um, which will lead me into the next thing, which is a huge, huge reason to play this game: multiplayer. If you've ever played Clash of Clans or anything like that on mobile, the whole point is to play multiplayer. You build your armies, be as strong as you can be, and just go fight and fight with your alliance, because everybody knows that if you fight with an alliance and you do well, your loot will be really good, and that loot will help you progress in the game. But in this game, probably others too, it goes more than that. You can strategize of how you're going to fight. You can strategize of who fights who, because it's usually, I forget what the minimum is. I think it's 10 is the minimum players to start a war. Could be 8, but I think it's 10. So you're not swarmed with people. You're not trying to tell 20, 30 people what to do. And in this game, oops, let me go back here. Where is that thing? In this game, you're only attacking twice. Even though you could attack a lot more than that, you're only attacking twice. And then they take all the enemies and see how many times they got attacked. And then they're keeping, as an attacker, you're going to attack twice, but they're going to keep your best of the 2 attacks. So it's very tense. Other games that let you attack a bunch of times or multiple times to do this and that. Not in this game. In this game, you only attack twice, so you really have to make it count. You really need to speak with your alliance to make sure you're not, if you're ranked number 2 in your alliance, but you're attacking the last place team on the other side twice, they're not going to be happy with you. Because you should be attacking people that are right around your level, if not higher, if you're really good. But But either way, it does get a little intense with that because everybody wants to win. And because it's purely strategy, it's hard. You might be really good at offense, but your defense stinks. Um, you really want to be very well rounded in this game. It could be vice versa. You could be really crappy at attacking. You just can't do any damage for whatever reason. Your troops are too weak, or you're launching them at the wrong time, or you have the wrong troops to go up against that specific enemy. But your defense is amazing. Like, there's a lot to learn. A lot to learn. That's where we go back to this being a full game. You're not going to master it in like a few weeks, a few months. Because you go to the next age, you're going to be dealing with completely different players with different strategies and maybe further along than you and more strategic than you. So who knows? But the multiplayer is awesome. Um, and then you have the chat here, so you can all chat about everything and trying to do what you're trying to do. Our alliance is actually pretty strong for what we're trying to do, and we're trying to grow. So that was the other reason I was doing this. Elite squad. We have 14 of us. Some people jump in, jump out for the wars. Hold on 1 second. No, I want to look at something. I don't know. It was over. Okay. Good. So we're trying to look for some more people. So if you're still interested, we have 2 or 3 leaders that help run the wars and just do general conversation because people always need to have suggestions, or they're trying to level up, or they're trying to do something. And the leaders in the multiplayer and the alliances are always going to be very helpful in giving you ideas and donating troops to you, which could be really beneficial. And taking a look at your bases and things like that. You can do friendly battles, so they can kind of see where your holes are and things like that. So it's nice, very nice. That's a good community for sure. All right, so the next one. Um, this one probably ties in with the strategy and everything else, but another reason why this game is just so good is when you fight in a battle, you recover all your troops if and when you defeat all their defensive buildings. Now, I played Clash of Clans, I played other games like this in the past, and they do not give you anything. You go and fight, and whatever you took is gone. You have to rebuild. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, everybody's kind of used to that. So when I started playing this game and I noticed that some of my troops came back, I'm like, wow, they're actually rewarding you for well planned out attacks, for having a good strategy. Um, so even though a lot of the basic troops are not very expensive at all, everything costs time. If you need to retrain 20, 30 troops, it's going to take you some time. So by recovering some of your troops, it's going to save you a lot of time. You can probably retrain rather quickly, and you can go and fight again. So it was awesome, really awesome. Just remember that you have to wipe out all their defensive buildings, or else they will not come back. Mercenaries do not come back because they're just mercenaries. They're going to help the cause, and then they're going to wander off and do their own thing. The only time they come back is if you do a auto retrain, and then they will join you. And the other thing is, during battles, you can direct your troops. Now, I haven't played Clash of Clans in forever, so I don't know if they changed that. But I know that you'd be able to spawn your troops around the map wherever you wanted them to be, and then they would go out and fight on their own. So you had to be very strategic and know this one's going to go this way, that one's going to go that way, and things like that. I know they have spells and different things like that help. But in this game, I'm trying to remember what the original was, but I think it's every 25 seconds or something like that. Maybe 30, not sure. You get a rally ability where you can rally your troops to a point, which is awesome. That really changes the strategy because you could be doing really amazing, and then you're like, you know what? I placed half of these guys in the wrong side. I didn't realize that they were going to do this, so let's run them over to the other side. Or sometimes you want to put them in a little cluster and then put the little heal thing or the little shield thing, and you can get as many of your troops as possible with those spells, and then they can kind of run amok. Now there's other things that you can learn in the university. It's probably actually not university, in the library, that can speed up that time. There's a nation that does speed that up as well. That's really strong. But that's where we go back to everything else I talked to before, how customizable this is to fit you and your play style. But I thought those two things were awesome, and it made the fights more exciting because you're not just trying to win, you're trying to make some of your troops survive so you can retrain, re-get them out there again. Um, and then you're also trying to be more strategic of where you're placing your things, because as the maps get bigger, which I don't know how they foresaw this, but as the maps get bigger, it takes you longer to get from one side of the map to the other. So some people will spread out their map big, hoping that you can't get to the other side of the map to wipe them out. But then they came out with planes and other things, so that kind of doesn't work out as easily for them. But it's still a thing. If they knock out all your planes, you're gonna have to put some troops on the other side, unless you launched them on that side already to begin with. But that's a whole other thing. Um, oh, and then the last reason to play this game, that I could think of, is that they're still adding content. This game is not dead. I would say it's clearly over 5 years old. They're still adding events. They have events very regularly. They're still adding content, which is like in the university, they have other places to go. They just added a council very recently to the game, and you can still upgrade that. They added a museum probably 3 years ago, but that didn't exist. This whole area was just kind of trees. Um, they have added more ages. I wish there was somewhere in here where you could click and you could see like all the ages. But I know they have information age. Man, I don't remember. I think there's space age, and then there's one more. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I can't even keep up because I'm so far behind at this point. I'm probably way further in the game than most people that have only been playing for 2 years. I'm thinking, but I'm also very far behind of where I would have been had I been playing this like every day religiously. But there's still so much for me to discover. But they're still adding stuff to this game. They're still doing updates. They're still thinking about things to help. Um, like this thing with the shop. I mean, there's the shops here all the time, but recently I've been getting like free stuff every few days. Like that never existed. Um, this was a huge thing when they finally released the speed ups. Now a lot of the things that I'm doing now take at least 5 to 6 days to build. So the speed ups are only doing a dent to that. But there are other things that don't take as long, that will help. Oh, I have a wall upgrade manual, so I can level up some walls. I think. I think. Let me see. Trying to see if I have any like super low level walls anywhere. I think these all look about the same. Uh, oh, okay, so I was upgrading those. Good. That's where some people get in, and then some people get in on this side too. Oh, I needed. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna spend that. Okay, but yeah, and then yeah, they're still adding stuff to the game. So I feel like the stuff that they're adding now is not a knock on the game at all, but it's more beneficial to people that are near the end game, which is fine, I guess, because you're giving them more things to do, and it's also giving people that are in the middle of the game more things to look forward to. Like I haven't maxed out the museum. There's still so much more to do there. I have not maxed out the council. There's still so much more to do there. Haven't maxed out the embassy. Still a lot to do there. And then I still have the library and the university that I still have tons to do. The parliament came out probably about 3.5 years ago. I think it came out. I'm trying to remember if it came out before the museum or not, but I think it was in that same time period. And this one is awesome because this is specific to your alliance progression, and it's sneaky because the all the benefits of it are tied to your alliance. So if you leave the alliance or you close down the alliance, all those benefits are gone. Um, So I thought that was very smart to do because it's something that there are laws that everybody is working on doing together. So everybody's contributing. No, we don't need Ruby excavation at this point. But they're very minor things that help you, but it helps the whole alliance, which is super exciting. And I think I have something that's giving me a bonus on this. So let me do some of these. You can only do so many, and then it kind of goes away. Let me click this information thing here. So war profits increased food from. See, that's huge. Okay, and then you have all this stuff here. And there's tons of different categories. Some will help you with your infrastructure, your education, treasury, all kinds of stuff. But you work on this with your alliance. Like I said, if you cancel the alliance, you jump out, this goes away. So I thought that was very smart. It is another like busy thing to do, tasks. But it's great because everybody benefits from that. What was the other thing I was looking at? The Elite Squad perks is another thing that they rolled out a while ago. Depending on how many experience points the Alliance has, you start getting all these benefits. Alliance gate capacity increases. So this is also a thing that we noticed that when we were fighting people that have like Alliance perks like 9 or 10, we're getting killed. And it's not just because of this, but this really gives you a big bonus. Um, like, look at this coordinated offense. During war attacks, your troops have 10% more hit points and damage. Wow. So if you're doing heavy tanks, that's a lot. Then, number 8, your war base's defenders have 10% more hit points and damage. So they did a lot of cool stuff, trying to get players to stay with their alliances, try to give them reason to kind of just stay in the game. So they're still working hard. Yes, all these things here are super annoying. I don't like seeing all this stuff all over the place. But it's part of the game. It's fine. I know they're making good revenue, and obviously they want to continue making good revenue, and that's fine. So this got very, very long, and I think I touched upon 8 main topics. But I'm going to title this 7 Reasons Why to Play Dominations, or 7 Reasons Why Dominations is Amazing. But thanks for sticking around. I know that was very long, and you're probably just staring at my base, which just hasn't changed all that much. And I finally cleared that space there, so I am going to move some stuff around. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments below, please post them. Let me know if you agree with any one of my points. And once again, check out Elite Squad. We need some more people. We're finally doing some things, and we want to keep doing things. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.